Everybody, welcome to another episode of Unlikely Hero Studios Presents, and I'm here as per the usual with my co-host Lori Foster. Hello,
Hey,
Lori. You didn't look like you were ready. Were you ready?
I am seeing a feedback loop right now.
Good
I just want to
time.
make sure we avoid that for the
Yeah,
rest of the episode.
we are just having all the sound problems today, aren't we?
Yeah,
Couldn't hear me. Now you have feedback. Couldn't Lawrence couldn't hear us. Like all kinds of fun stuff happening. Good times. Good times. So yeah, let's quick Unlikely Heroes Studios news recap here. I've got a screen share for us. There we go. Have a look at what's going on here.
yeah. So the Elsewhere campaign has 3 days to go. I'm hoping to hit 12K. That would be nice. We have a couple more stretch goals in mind for you guys. We'd like to unlock the holofoil edition. We just unlocked the metal bookmark for physical backers. Next stretch goal at 10.5 is going to be that really cool print we have somewhere, right?
Yes, this one.
Yeah. So physical backers are going to get that as well. Why are the kids flying all over the place? You'll find out when you get the anthology.
I know why the kids are flying around. Yeah. So I mean, we're doing all right so far, but if you or somebody that you know hasn't backed yet, Unlikely Hero Studios
If you like comics, of different genres by different creators from all over the world, we got pros, we got new creators all in one. We have the previous volumes offered as well. It's a lot of comics for a really good price. So,
and there's like something for everybody in here, no matter what genre you like. It's in here. So good idea to back. That's what I'm saying. Not that I'm biased or anything. What other stuff do we have? We have other stuff. Is that like an actual physical book? Do they exist now?
It is. They exist. We're going to ship them out. Yeah. I'm so excited.
I didn't know that. That's pretty exciting that they actually exist now. So
we finally have them, despite a paper shortage. There's the holofoil.
Well, it's hard to read on here, but I bet it looks sexy in person.
Yeah, it's all my lights are reflecting in the cover, but
not really something that's meant to be seen anywhere but up close in person. So yeah, so that's cool. So everybody who's been waiting so patiently with the paper shortage and stuff, that's pretty exciting for y'all now. Well, and for me too. I mean, I haven't seen them yet either, and I've got conventions coming up, so I got like a place to sell the books now.
We need to get these books to you.
But okay, so yeah. Back elsewhere. Link is down in the ticker here, uhstudios.com/Kickstarter. And let's move on and introduce our guests. Today we are talking about Nightfall and the Kickstarter for Nightfall. And we're going to be talking with a pretty awesome guy who is the writer and creator of Justice and writer of Nightfall and the president of Wingless Comics, who almost drowned in 6 feet of water because his body froze and he forgot how to swim. Let's say hi to Brian Lambert.
Hi, hey, guys.
That seems like a story.
Horrible.
I have like the worst, best stories, I guess. I was doing one of those Spartan runs or whatever. And okay, so a little bit of history. I've actually learned how to swim like 3 times because like I almost drown and then I panic and I forget. So like this time I'm like, no, I'm a grown up now. It's not gonna happen again. I've done this before, and I've done like 4 or 5 races at this point. I'm doing one, and there's like a water obstacle, and it's not like a pool, it's a river. And so I get in. It's early morning. I've run already like 1.5 miles, and I jump in the water, and my body is like, nah, bro. Like I'm going behind my friend, and like he swims out, and he's just treading water, and I'm like, oh, I can tread water, and then my body's like, no, you can't. And then I like dip once, and then like I try again, and like I bounce off. I literally bounce off of the bottom of the river and come back up, right?
Shit.
And then my body is still like, no, dude, you can't swim. But my feet can actually touch the bottom. But my brain's not smart enough to know, like, bro, you could just bounce like all the way across. And so like the lifeguard had to come get me and everything. And he was like, are you good, bro? And I was like, no, I'm not. Like, take me to the other side. It was horrible. And my buddy Darian, he's from New York. And like in my mind, I was like, help, like with this really great, deep, like baritone voice. And he was like, nah, bro, you were like, help when I went in. So yeah, that's a thing.
I totally feel you on that though, because I did one of those polar bear plunges, very popular here. And like my legs like totally locked up and I couldn't stand up anymore because it's just fucking cold. That water's cold.
Yeah. Your body definitely like it was weird because like I was totally aware. Like my brain was like, look, stupid, you're gonna drown in 6 feet of water. Isn't that hilarious? And I was like, no, it's not hilarious. I'm scared. Right. But like
the inner monologue.
Yeah.
Right? Like it's always happening in slow motion.
Yeah. So
our next guest is the CEO of Constant Hustle Comics and creator of Avery the Astonishing, and loves Thunder the Barbarian. So let's say hi to Lawrence King. Hi.
Hey, y'all. How y'all doing? I think I should have elaborated on that. I'm like obsessed with Thunder the Barbarian since I was a kid. I think I'm a little older than everybody else on this podcast, but Thunder was like groundbreaking for me when I was a little one, to the point where when it came out on a whole like I forget 7 Blu-ray disc, I bought the thing and it was ridiculously priced, but I still bought the whole thing and made my youngest watch it with me. He was disinterested with right after the theme song, but I watched the rest of it all myself. So yeah, definitely.
That's awesome. I've never seen it, so I'm curious how it compares to like Conan or He-Man. Is it better? Do you prefer it?
I would say definitely Conan borrows from it. But the funny part about it is the guy who did the voice for like Thundercats did the theme song, the original speaking over the theme song in Thunder the Barbarian as well. Apparently they used to do that back then. They all used to, like one person used to do it for like multiple characters in multiple areas. So yeah, definitely loved it. Still obsessed.
Still dressing like him too.
I'm an old man, bro. I'm an old man. Y'all stay up for a while longer. As soon as this is over, I'm already past my bedtime.
Hey, I mean, like, I'm just assuming that everybody who's ever on screen anymore is like only presentable from the waist up. And you even wearing pants right now because you don't have to be. Half of you.
No.
Doesn't matter.
I feel like if he was wearing like a furry leotard like Thundar, we would notice though.
Well,
but
yeah.
See, now I was Thundar. He wears the like bearskin top with the I will call them shorts. Look, bearskin shorts, and he's got a sun sword he keeps on his bracelet. It's classic. It's classic.
I
If I look
think
like a
Brian
WWF wrestler, man, that'd be fucking horrible. I mean, tell me if you do it because I want to take pictures, but don't ever do it.
You wouldn't appreciate the Black Thundar thing, man. No, you wouldn't appreciate it. I get it. I get it.
What? That would be amazing.
Wow. Puma Pantaloons has commented saying, "I'm here for comic talks and random cat appearances, and both. Well, one is for sure, and the other is highly likely. So, I mean, between Lori and I, there's bound to be at least one random cat."
Yeah.
Quentin Rushing's here said, "Looking forward to getting my copy of Power Broker. I'm assuming in the mail, because I think we were talking about Power Broker when that comment came through. It was 707." Anyway, and Katie's here. Hey, Katie.
Hey.
Katie says, "Hey, guys."
Clinton just devours comics, dude. Like, he is not a trash compactor of comics, but like as close as you can get. Like, the moment he gets one, he's like, "Oh, I got a review up already." You're like, "What? Bro, I just gave it to you 5 minutes ago. I got a review up, though. So just so you know, this guy is a maniac."
That's amazing. I on the other hand, I have a pile of probably like 40 that I need to read.
Oh my
that I've
God,
packed.
I'm the same way. I'm the same
Right.
way. I get them and I have the bright idea. I want to read them before the end of the weekend, and then they just make their way over to the pile. Definitely.
Right. Nah. Never gonna happen. Never.
Yep. That's how mine are too. I have a huge pile, and I'm not gonna say who all's in the pile because I don't want anybody to feel bad. Because like I don't not want to read my friends' comics. I just don't have any freaking time right now. So
Yeah, that's basically it.
I think we all got into comics to like be in comics, but then at the same time, the more you are in comics, the less you're in the comic community, right? Like, because you don't have the time. Like, oh, I'd like to read a comic, but I'm busy making one or promoting one or
Right.
whatever else it is. And by the time you get finished, like, oh, I got to go read another comic for pleasure right now. Like, you just don't have the energy for it.
Right.
Yeah, and people are like, "Oh, have you read the new, Big Two books?" And I'm like, no." Like it's like I'm making comics and then I'm helping people make comics and then I'm reading indie comics and then like the Big Two is like down here. Like I don't have time. There's no space.
Right.
I have Malachi for my Big Two roundup. Like, if there's a story I want, I just kind of like drop an idea in his head. Like, I'm like, man, it's crazy that DC story they're doing. And he's like, what? And then like 2 days later, he'll be like, silence, comic reading in progress. And then he'll just tell me.
Yeah. Yeah, he definitely does that a lot.
You know.
Oh, nice. So, yeah, let's have like a overview of Nightfall. What what the hell's the word? The plot of Nightfall, like the synopsis, not the synopsis, the plot, premise. Thank you. That's the word. Yeah, let's what is it about? Let's hear it.
So I wanted to make, like, we talk about getting into comics, and since I got into comics, I've always wanted to, and I've always loved crossovers, even before I started making comics when I was just reading them. So I hit Lawrence up, and I hit a couple other people up to see if they wanted to do a crossover with me. I pitched the story to them, and like that's how Nightfall started. But the story of Nightfall is a classic coming together of heroes in order to stop, your MacGuffin, right? Like, what they are stopping isn't more important than what they're building, because the truth of the matter is, what you have is Justice, Caliburn, Lux, Avery, her, and Jinx forming the friendship and the bonds that will like continue in comics as time goes on. Are they fighting a villain? Yes. Is Merlin in our universe evil? Yes. Is he trying to destroy the universe or the world? Actually, not the universe. Yes. But Nightfall at its heart is a story about like bonds and creating those bonds, not necessarily friendship yet, right? Because they don't really know each other, but creating those bonds where they can go on and fight for the greater good. So, it's a story about kind of coming together and I don't want to say like doing what's right, but like serving a purpose greater than oneself. That's the premise of Nightfall. And the story, obviously, is our heroes coming together to stop Merlin and his ancient society from resurrecting Apep, the Egyptian serpent that will devour the world.
Awesome. And the characters involved are like, this is a crossover, right? These are from different properties and books that you guys are making. Can you kind of elaborate about them?
Yeah. So Wingless Comics itself, and I know Constant Hustle is as well. Like, we're both creator-owned studios. So for some people that don't understand that means like if I make a book for Wingless, like I still own it. Wingless doesn't. Or Lawrence makes a book, he owns the IP and the characters. So when you're looking at Caliburn and Justice, those are my two characters spinning out of the Justice comic book. When you look at Avery, she is from Constant Hustle, and now through a joint publishing agreement, part of Wingless Comics hierarchy and canon. Her, although Malachi publishes with Wingless Comics, is Malachi's property. Lux is a character that I created that actually is now part of Wingless Comics as well. And Jinx is a property from my brother, actually, who did some webcomics, like CG webcomics years and years and years ago, and I wanted to reuse the character. So these are all characters that, while under the Wingless hub, are all independent. In true crossover form, like they've got to meet each other, misunderstand each other, fight a little bit, and then bring the ultimate victory out if they can.
Think of it as early Image Comics type setup, when everybody, I mean, you work together as a whole, but everybody still owns their individual titles. But there's a quality control to it. You can only put out what is best for the group as a whole, what is best for the brand or the label as a whole. Because I mean, the indie comics, like the big two, they can miss all day. They can have 2 bad years of books come out and they're still going to sell great come the 3rd year. But, in indie, if you have 2 bad years of books come out, you might as well just pack up shop or wait a while to come back out.
Mm-hmm.
So things like that, we try to avoid that with crossovers and with Brian and our friendship, talking about what we're doing and how we're doing it. He gives me ideas, and every once in a while when he needs, an idea or two or my personal thoughts on something, I give that to him and he does likewise. So we help each other out with that.
Excellent. Puma Pantaloons, asked if what your comics are like if you were to liken it to mainstream comics, cartoons, movies. You kind of answered some of it there, but I don't know if you want to elaborate on that.
So I think if we're talking about the group as a whole, the group is very Image Comics like in that we all own our own properties, but there is, like Lauren said, quality control. I think that's the biggest part. There are a lot of times where indies will come out and somebody may have a good thought, right? But we don't take the time to make it as marketable and as professional as possible. That's one of our things that we definitely try to make everything as marketable and professional as possible. If we ran a round table of characters, right? Like I would liken Justice, the closest you're going to get to him is like Spawn. But if you're talking about Justice and Caliburn put together, like those two together, that's like my Batman and Superman. Her is definitely influenced by Storm, because Malachi is in love with Storm. So obviously,
Malachi is here, by the way.
Yeah.
There he is.
Yeah, just wait till he says something about Storm. Lux is like Jubilee. Jinx is like I don't want to say like any bounty hunter you have. He's more like a Deadshot or a Taskmaster type. I don't want to speak for Avery, but I will say as a whole again, I feel like our characters are somewhere in between when they're together, in between the Avengers and Justice League. Whereas the Justice League is like they fight planetary threats and universal threats, and that's what we're doing right now. Sometimes they lack the heart, like the humanity that the Avengers have. I like to say our characters are right in the center because you get all of those pieces. You have from street level heroes to, gods essentially. And you've got to have run the gamut of emotions, which is a narrative character writing thing. But Lawrence, I'd like you to expand upon on Avery, because I don't want to speak for you because I think she's dope. But I know
Avery would be more like in physical brute power. She would be like if you took She-Hulk and gave She-Hulk a special forces MMA background. That would be Avery the Astonishing. That would definitely be. Yeah, that would be Avery. I could call it like that. I mean, other people see it differently, but I would say that would pretty much be Avery.
Nice.
So I'm curious then, and we should show the art in a second. What do you consider this a superhero genre? Because it's like when I read it, it's also fantasy. Like, can we put it in that category?
I definitely do. I think we have to, and that's the way that I label Wingless Comics in general, because we do a lot of lore building, and a lot of mythology. So once you cross over into those realms, then you're going to be in fantasy, in my opinion. So I feel like it's like action adventure fantasy. You know what I mean? I don't think it's strict superhero stuff.
I would say so, or you could say a superhero. I mean, fantasy genre with superheroes in it.
Yeah, which is really
because like you have superheroes fighting completely fantasy type villains.
Yeah. I also hate genres only because That's like a way to like. Obviously, it's a way to label things, right? But sometimes it limits people, like because then, well, look at Superman. Superman is so incredibly limited now, right? Because he's like your quintessential superhero, and so when he tries to break out of that box, a lot of times it doesn't really work, or people aren't going to go for it. Now, don't get me wrong, you have like the CW shows that are showing some different sides and things, but it's really, really difficult to like. Once you put somebody in a box, it's hard for them to get out. And when they do things, they're like, well, why did they change? They didn't change. That's storytelling. You know,
Right.
they're exploring new things. Yeah, I just want to be called like really cool comics. Like, what's your genre? Really cool stuff. Like,
Right. I think
Yeah,
the issue there is that
I-
fans like really like categories. So like if you can give them a couple of categories, it helps. Because like we started off talking about superheroes, and I was like, yeah, but I read it's not just superhero comic; it's like more than that. So like we need to, yeah, it needs like a new term.
Right,
better.
right.
Yeah.
And you can't write that, like you can't write the 50s Superman now the way they wrote it in the 50s anyway.
yeah.
Because it was just so black and white. So this is, truth, justice, and the American way. And all those phrases mean something completely different now. You know what I'm saying? There's very few things are black and, I mean, there are some things that are black and white. Don't get me wrong. But there's the gray is opening more and more and more. And the Superman now, I don't think they'd be able to completely be effective in the black and white. He'd have to dip his toe in the gray some. My opinion.
Yeah, no, that your opinion sounds good to me.
I would agree. Mm-hmm.
I think that was part of the problem with Man of Steel, though, right? Like, which I loved Man of Steel.
So did I.
Hey, Mal, we should actually trademark that before somebody else takes it, because
Black speculative comics. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, right. So Man of Steel, right? It actually made sense for him to be darker and to be less hopeful and on and on and on, and given the circumstance, right? But then people were like, "That's not the Superman we know. Our Superman is bright." But then you give him a bright Superman, and it's like, why is he like this? Nobody's like this. Like that's the problem of Superman. The problem built him up to be this thing, and then we change him. People don't like it. And then when you go with the normal, it's not realistic to how like somebody would react in the world with those powers.
I think people are also like, I think a lot of people misremember Superman because, I always hear people like, oh, old Superman comics, they never got political. And I'm like,
what?
Right.
Like only modern Superman is political. I'm like,
right.
Did you read them? Do you need to read them again?
Right.
Did you even watch the fourth movie? Like literally, he beats communism. You know what I mean? Like
right.
Communism.
Right.
Like that's it.
Right.
And people are like, no, it's not political. Like what? It just makes sense.
And you can't have a movie with somebody who stops crimes not just in their town, even if it's just in their town. People who stops crime on a big level and it not become political. It has to be political at one time. Just like with the whole, what was it? The Accords that they tried to have them sign in the Avengers. Eventually, that had to happen. Yeah. Even though it's a story from, they built it off one from back in the day. It still had to happen. You can't just cross country lines, save people with trillions of dollars worth of damage, and everybody just say, you know what, you guys are the best. We're just gonna let all that slide. It just don't work like that.
You know what's crazy is people love to use that phrase like it's not political, but like even Kick-Ass. I just watched Kick-Ass and Kick-Ass 2, right? Like they're political. Like there are some themes that run through of like vigilantism and right, blah 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 blah. And people act like, oh no, they're just fun movies. Like, bro, did you actually watch the movie, or did you just see the beat 'em up part and you weren't paying attention? Because
yeah, and the second one, that group that the husband and wife trio only did it because they lost a child to violence.
Yeah.
There's nothing more political than that. You lost a child to violence. You feel like the cops or your senator or whoever isn't doing anything about it. You go out and do something about it yourself. So yeah, definitely.
I also think politics in comics, and I've had this discussion before. I think politics and comics are a big thing because the lens is different. I've had a couple people ask me with Justice #1, like at the end, there's this big scene and like he gets attacked by a bunch of vampires. It's not a spoiler. I mean, it's a spoiler if you haven't read it, but the comic's been out for 2 years. So like, sorry, right? So at the end, it's a bunch of vampires. Now, I didn't plan it like this, but the colors did it and it ended up looking good. Like all but 2 of the vampires are white. Now, if it's not Justice, the comic, right, and that happens, nobody really bats an eye. We don't bat an eye when we're talking about Hydra, right? We don't like, well, why are all the people white? Well, because it's Hydra. So obviously, and Captain America's been doing that for years, right? We don't bat an eye when in Commando, Arnold Schwarzenegger goes down to like a nondescript South American country and kills like a bunch of Latin people, right? Because again,
a bunch of them,
right? Like hundreds by itself. Don't get me wrong. I love Commando.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
He's dead tired. I love this. My favorite line ever. If I ever get it.
Come on, man. That was.
You know,
it was funny because we were just talking about like Steven Seagal when he took on that Jamaican posse in Mark for Death. He killed like 30 Jamaicans in that town and then went to Jamaica and killed about another 30, 40 more.
Right. And nobody bats an eye, but once the lens is turned, right? Like once you have Hit Girl doing it, right? Once you have Hit Girl, then it's like, oh, a woman or a girl could do all that? Well, bro, you didn't bat an eye when, you know, someone who also is not a fighter, when Ralph Macchio is doing it, we didn't, okay, yeah, right? But it doesn't make any sense. And politics have always been a thing, and that's one thing that I think that we also miss. Politics have always been a thing. It used to just exclusively, like rich people would call it politics. The rest of us called it life. But now that we all think that like there's these individual hierarchies that actually don't exist, now it's politics because it's not our life. And it's like, nah, bro. Like it might not be your life today, but the fact of the matter is in 3 years it is. Like, so it's not politics for you. You're not a millionaire. You're not a billionaire. It's your life. You're courting it off, right? And so that happens in comics where it's like, oh, wow, a black hero took on such and such. No, dude, a hero took on such and, you know what I mean? Like,
that's right.
Color swapped him. You wouldn't have batted an eye. So more about the person who's digesting these stories than necessarily the person who's putting in a political agenda.
Absolutely.
Right.
So I have your Kickstarter up here. I just wanted to share the screen for it here quick and have a look.
Show off some of the assets.
And I am putting the link into the comments here for you guys to all, everybody who's watching to check it out. And it looks like why is it always so tiny? There, yeah. So you're well over halfway there. Yeah, and you got plenty of time yet. So, and I'm terrible because I haven't backed it yet, but I'm gonna, because I eventually always remember. Well, usually remember.
If you see how many saved Kickstarter projects I have, it'd be a shame. Like save, come back to this. I need to check it out.
I tried to be #1 on this. Brian knows. I messaged him.
Yeah.
I tried to, but I hesitated for like 2 seconds when I chose my pledge, and I ended up being #2. Yeah, and very upset.
I think Dana Holmes ended up jumping in and getting that #1 spot. Shout out Dana.
I don't even try it anymore.
I was like, why even? I would not. I'm not even, because I mean, like, just between like Morgan and Andrew and like they just all fighting over numbers all the time. It's like I don't even care, man. I don't even care anymore. I'm not even gonna try. I'll never win. I'll just be sad.
No, I'll never win. I
never say that, man. I think I took #1 on Lumberjacks, as a matter of fact. I was like, no, I was waiting. Let's do it. You know.
So I've got this is the cover for issue 1.
Yeah. So we've done variant covers for each issue. It started out as basically each comic house would produce their own cover and kind of battle it out. After I destroyed Lawrence in every cover competition.
Oh my God.
No, but you know, it is what it is. So We actually started out the entire series with, it was actually 3 companies when we started out. So Wingless Comics, Constant Hustle Comics, and
Oh, shut up, Malachi.
see, that's what I'm talking about, man. So obviously we all did our individual covers for the first issue, which was really, really great. We got some really good headway out the gate. And that was really like an introduction. Obviously it's an introduction to the #1 comic, but introducing our characters in a way that felt seamless was important. And that's one of the reasons and one of the benefits, I think, of doing it this way. And one of the things, so long before we released the comic, Lawrence had hit me up. Javon, thanks, bro. I got to get on the All Stoked podcast, man. I got to argue with Morgan at some point.
Yes.
I don't think Lori, I don't think you can make it, right? But I'm gonna be on there on Thursday.
Nice. Thursday. Yeah, I'm gonna be in on that. I'm gonna listen.
And then like some we're talking about comics stuff. I don't even know the whole topic. I just know it's gonna be comics centered.
Whatever it is, Morgan is wrong. That's all I want, right? Like,
if Morgan is there, I'll make sure that he knows that.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna bomb the show if Morgan is there.
And you should go on with Sarah, and you guys can talk Nightfall and elsewhere. That would be
I'm
awesome.
actually I'm at work on Thursday, so I got to listen from my office.
Fuck work.
So
that's why I don't have a job. Right. It's the way of my other stuff, my podcast appearances.
When we first started Nightfall, we were going to launch the first issue. This is before any of the art got done. And Lawrence was like, yo, Brian. And yeah, I'm going to make fun of you. I'm going to do this all night, man. It's going to be great. It's great for me. He was like, yo, man, hey, can Avery feature some more in the book, bro? And I was like, because I wrote it, right? So I'm like, did you actually read the thing? And he was like, yeah, man, I read it, right? Like, I got this. So we released issue 1 and it's cool or whatever. We go to release issue 2, and by now Lawrence actually has read up to issue like 5. And I was like, me, I'm like, yo, so you still need Avery? You still want Avery to feature some more? He was like, nah, man, it's fine. Because the way, even though again Avery's introduction into, quote unquote, the Wingless universe isn't a proper introduction. She doesn't come through a wormhole. It's not like the big Marvel MacGuffin, right? Avery is ingrained. And the storytelling is ingrained in the story itself. It's not a big jump. And, I like those stories, but they're also very, very convenient where you're like, oh, we need help. Where are we going to get it from? And then like a boom tube opens and like, you know what I mean? Somebody walks out and they're like, hi, I'm from Earth 212. Like it's kind of whack, man. To me anyway.
It's a Band-Aid fix.
Yeah.
Right.
So I've been very lucky and very fortunate that Lawrence has let me play outside the lines with Avery in order to bring Avery in and again, complete that storytelling arc in a way that feels more organic, or to me seems more organic. I've been very fortunate in that.
Well, that's just a testament to Brian's storytelling and not just saying, hey, I want to put Avery in a story. Do you mind? Which, knowing Brian the way I do, I probably would have said, no, I don't mind anyway. But it was the fact that there were conversations that happened. What would Avery do in this position? What is Avery's overall motivation? How would Avery do this? How would Avery do that? And that put me at ease when it came to the project as a whole, because it's hard for different independent camps to want their characters in other people's work, because I don't believe in just filler characters. Even when Constant Hustle Comics has had Kickstarters before, one of our tiers is you could be a villain in the Constant Hustle Comics universe, and we design it and everything. And once the person who got the tier and us agree, then we put you in the book, or your character in the book, not just getting blown up or getting killed, but actually being part of the universe as a whole. So I wanted to be sure of that. And Brian, through his amazing storytelling, put my mind completely at ease.
It is quite amazing, I might add, that storytelling. No. One of the things I like is I like playing with duality, and so with someone like Justice and Caliburn, you would look and say like, you know, Justice is an angel. He's going to be like the lighthearted, you know, the lighter one, and then Caliburn's going to be the darker one. He wears a hood and blah 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 blah, more mysterious. And I like playing with that and having Caliburn being the one who's like joking, doesn't really take anything serious, you know, blah 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 blah. And Justice is all stoic because all he's known is this life as a soldier, you know. Also, I like making fun of things. So, like the church scene that we're looking at right now, like that's literally making fun of the church, right? But it's because I grew up in church, and so I love to see the charlatan preacher, you know, get his due, because you know, obviously people hold that stuff dear. Like, you know, church and religion is really important to people, and when you have a charlatan like over it and taking advantage of that, I think it's important that we see the karmic balance, as it were. I was able to also, there's some cameos in this page. I was able to also put Brett on there because what military person would say it's time to dispatch? Like no one. But if I can put Brett in there and do it in a hilarious manner, I'm going to every single time. So again, I've been very fortunate. And I before I go too far, I must say, I started my working relationship with Fabio Samao on Nightfall #1. He is amazing, right? We went from working on #1, now we're on #5, and he's giving me pages for #5. And it used to be he'd turn in sketches, then I'd approve the sketch, and then we go to inks, and you know, on and on and on. He sent them today, and I was like, dude, you know what you're doing. Just draw it out. You know what I mean? We've gotten to that place where unless it's something I'm really, really like particular about, and I need it to be a specific certain way, like I don't even need to look at his stuff anymore because our relationship has progressed that far, and he's an amazing talent. As is Nestor, our colorist for this series. We just got like behind the scenes has been really, really good, and behind the scenes, my team, which includes Lawrence, and my family, which includes Lawrence, has really propped me up because, as we all know, Kickstarters are not easy. I don't know of another insane person that within their first year has done a 5-part miniseries and like led it to the end. You know what I mean? Like this stuff is not easy. So I couldn't have done it without everybody, Mal and Brett and Lawrence and Jordan and Jay, and you know what I mean? Like everybody who's on the squad. So I appreciate you guys so much. And Lori and Sarah, I mean, you guys have supported me as well, like through podcasts, through reshares, through everything. So like, again, I couldn't be where I am without the people that have helped me get here.
I wanted to mention too, like as we've been scrolling through, and I'm glad you have so much art on this campaign because like you really need to showcase it. It looks amazing. Fabio is not lazy. There are no lazy panels in his work. He fills them, like if there's a crowd scene, the whole crowd's there, multiple characters, entire backgrounds. Like he does not do lazy panels, and I really appreciate that, and I love that. Yeah, I wanted to point that out because it's just it's something that really stood out for me.
He's insane. I colored a picture that he did of like Justice's study just for practice or whatever, and I was like, bro, why did you put so many books in the thing? Like it's literally like 300 books, and I was like, I know they're just squares, but like somebody's got to go color that, man. Like, are you serious right now? This is insane.
So hey, well, I wanted to show a couple of these pieces that you sent us to show off on the stream tonight. Here's the couple of pages here. I think we saw some of it as I was flipping through the Kickstarter there. But yeah, just more demonstration of the insane art. It is just so beautiful. I mean, this is one of those books that I would buy it just for the art and not even care about the story. And like the story,
Brian.
Yeah, right. Your story.
Like, the story being good is like a bonus, you know. It's like it's so pretty that I would get it and then be happy that I got it because of the story too. But like, just so pretty.
Yeah, this is stunning. I love the color. I'm a big sucker for like saturated color palettes.
Same.
Like I'm not a fan of like the brown age of video games and the like really desaturated books. This is right up my alley. I love it. I'm obsessed with it. And Brian, you lettered it too, right?
Yes. secretly, I don't even know if it's a secret, right? But I have lettered basically everything I've written so far through Room Makers, which is just me, but like with a cool name. Um, so I feel like sometimes as writers, we miss the mark on our Malachi. This guy is
I know, right? I know. Not finger licking good.
You
right,
have to put this quote on the trade, guys. It needs to go on the trade on the back.
True.
right.
True.
This art is finger licking good, of course, Mal. It's just nobody else but you, bro.
No.
So I think that sometimes, and I think it helps me anyway, to go back and read the dialogue, right? Because I know a bunch of authors and a bunch of writers were super dialogue heavy, and it doesn't really make sense. Like, I read a quote once that was like, "Never let it be said that I said in 10 words what could be said in 2." And I really kind of take that to heart because with art that does look like this, man, you don't want to clutter these pages up. Like, you want them to shine, but then there's like a lot to be said as well.
This one
Well,
is that's another one that I was like, this is crazy. Look at this.
I feel like when you letter it too, you really realize how much room things take up on a page,
Mm-hmm.
and you're like, oh fuck, like I can't, this monologue doesn't work. Like it has to be cut back.
Yeah.
So I think it really gives you a better, because the flow on these pages is fantastic. So you can really see that.
Yeah. I really get into the what was it? I think it was Incredibles, right? Where they're like, oh yeah. Oh, and Dr. Evil has me. And then they're like, and what does he start doing? He starts monologuing, which a lot of writers, like myself included, like we always do that. It's super unnecessary, like because the story tells itself if you've done your job initially.
Yeah.
One that you sent over was my absolute favorite, because like I used it on the banner and stuff. This is so fucking cool. You should make this a print.
Wait a minute. Sorry. Could you just repeat that entire phrase for me? Because I don't think Lauren heard it. One more time.
Everything I've ever said in my entire life. But it is, though. It's my favorite.
Yeah, it's so fucking cool.
Yeah. So remember earlier when I was telling that story about hey, can Avery be in it more? Okay, so again, some of the background of that was like, I'm pretty sure, because it's me, I'm pretty sure I did cuss at Lawrence. And I was like, did you not fucking see Avery fucking punch this? You know what I mean? Like, she gets a moment, bro. Like, what are you talking about?
To my defense, reading words and seeing pictures are two entirely different things.
Fair enough.
So, yes, after seeing this and after seeing some of the other stuff, I said, okay, all right. It was just a suggestion. That's all. But I'm
script,
good.
Brian, in the script, you have to have like Avery punches dragon. Trust me, bro. Like, trust
me.
Shut up, Malachi. I didn't ask you.
Right. You know what's crazy about this is also, no, you don't actually have it. You don't have a defense because there's a reference image that I was like, it's going to be this scale and this epic. And he was still like, I don't know, Come on, dude.
That's my baby. I got what father won't defend and ask about his baby?
Again, fair enough, man. But yeah. So, secret. Our first stretch goal is going to be this image on a t-shirt.
I could go for a t-shirt. I mean, I still want to print for my wall.
We will get you a special in case we don't do them. I mean, we should. I think we already have like 3 prints on this campaign, so I didn't want to go print happy. That's the only reason I didn't immediately make it one.
Yeah, people get sick of prints after a while, don't they?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know where the hell to put them is my problem. It's like I've got all these amazing prints and I've got them stacked nicely in a box because I don't have where the hell am I gonna put them? That's my only problem is like I need to buy a house with more walls. That's my problem.
More wall space, exactly.
This is the one that Lawrence sent over. This is the which I don't know, Lori, if you tried to download this fucking thing, but it would not let me open it in Illustrator to add the black box in the background, and it was just being a bastard for me. So I had to like resave it, and then it wouldn't work, and so I had to resave it, and I had to open it up in Photoshop and resave it, and I think that it was fucking Microsoft Paint that finally gave me a workable image that Illustrator was like, okay,
That's weird.
Wow.
It works fine for me.
There's nothing wrong with it at all, except that my copy of Illustrator just decided to be a big bitch about it. Anyway, I didn't even look at the picture because I was so mad about that. I didn't even get a chance to like appreciate the picture because I was so pissed off about that.
Sorry about that.
Well,
we don't know. We don't know what happened. It's fine.
Having all
It's a
the
curse.
technical difficulties for this episode. This is
So-
like no sound, no pictures, no nothing. Nope.
So what else are you offering on the campaign? Like tell us all the cool shit you're offering, because we didn't really. There's a lot of shit.
We have the normal, right? Like obviously the books themselves. We have 2 prints that are already confirmed. The Bad Boys poster print that also doubles as the 3rd variant cover. We also have the Lux Zero print. That's all, and that's all in the regular, like whatever normal physical or digital tier you get. You get all of that. In our digital catch-up, obviously, you're going to get issues 1 through 5 because this is the campaign for 4 and 5. So digital catch-up, you'll be caught up on the entire series. It's technically the digital trade, a version of the digital trade. You can do add-ons and add-on 1 through 3 physical for the normal. We also have, and I didn't get a chance to send you, we have an awesome cover by Keith and Jones for issue 5. And I'm sorry I couldn't send that to you because I only let you do 3 pictures. So I was like, well, I had to really pick which ones I wanted.
Well, I'll set it up so it lets you do more pictures then.
Yeah, I'll have to talk to the tech support.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, we have that. That's coming in holofoil, so you can get the holofoil wraparound cover from Keith and Jones wraparound cover, which again, it's gorgeous. I'm gonna get a holofoil wraparound cover because it's dope. What else we have? We have Justice Funko Pops that we always offer. Sculptures that we always offer. What else we have? We have 3 t-shirts. No, 2 t-shirts. Is it 2 or 3? It's 3. We have a Lux t-shirt, an Avery t-shirt, and the Wingless Comics team shirt. What else we have?
There's the shirts.
Oh yeah, shirts! Yay! Oh, you can also be part of the team, right? So one of our biggest ones is we get a lot of people that always ask, like, and I'm sure you guys get it too. How can I make comics? Like, what's it going to cost? How do I do it? You know, et cetera, et cetera. So we do have a tier where you can actually jump in and make a comic with us. And that's our highest level tier. And I believe you end up getting like a 3 or 4 page comic. You get consulting with all of our team, the various members of our team in terms of art, coloring, lettering, writing, the whole deal. So it's actually kind of a steal for the price.
One's nice.
If we know
Yeah, that's really cool. I don't think I've ever seen that done before either. I really like that idea.
Yeah.
I like that.
One-on-one coaching, Nightfall Part 4, Nightfall Part 5. I can't talk. Boys Lux. Yeah, oh my gosh. This one is so, yeah. That's cool. That's cool. That's a good one.
And for our creators, I mean, it's not only for our creators, but I made it basically for our creators. We actually have a cover tier, a cameo cover tier. Usually we do cameos in the book. This time, the cover tier, there are a number of, this is not a spoiler, there are a number of cameos in issue 5 from other indie creators, including Unlikely Hero Studios. So I wanted to offer a chance to put our heroes, respective heroes, together, you know what I mean? Like on a cover, iconically. So the Nightfall cover cameo is available. We already have like 3 or 4 people that have pledged to that one. So there'll be some specialty covers that go out, some one-offs for people. I think that one's a really, really dope one, and especially considering how the cameos are going to go out within the book itself. Always retailer bundle with multiple issues for retailers, so we can get the prints in stores, and again, all the normal accoutrement.
Everybody has these fucking awesome tiers that and I can't afford to back all these. Okay, like I can't back your $500 tier and like the Russell. I was looking at his, and like I was trying, like I wanted to get the Cthulhu book, and I was like, I can't. This is too many. I don't have enough money for all of these. Damn it! I need the fucking lottery.
Yeah.
Russell's book is killing it right now too, just destroying it, man.
Russell's books always kill it, pretty much.
Right?
Yeah.
He ain't really missing the mark much at all.
No, and he's doing good quality. I feel like I would feel some sort of way if it was like a subpar book or books, but he's really putting out really great material, so I can really respect that, man. Yeah, I think it's really dope.
We could just spend the rest of the stream just looking at this art. And then like I try and figure out what the story is from just the little bits that you gave us there.
It just looks so cool. Yeah. Like that's
so
there's so much cool stuff to look at. I was gonna say something and it just flew out of my brain.
I'm gonna post the link for everybody watching. I'm gonna post the link back in the comments again. Yes. And oops, if I don't
you guys should back Nightfall now, because if you're worried about money, they don't charge your card at all. They don't pre-charge your card until the campaign's over, and that's in 17 days. So give them your damn money. This book is awesome. Like, there's no reason not to. Look at it. Look
at this art. Look at it. Look at it.
Oh, that was that. If you scroll back down, and I knew it was somewhere. That is actually the Keith and Jones wraparound cover right there, and it's going to come in hollow foil as well.
I was like, oh, it's a poster, and no, it's way cooler when you it's a wraparound cover.
Yeah.
I hadn't seen that one. That version of her too. Oh man, Malachi must have lost his shit.
I'm glad you guys.
Oh yeah, he did. Oh yeah, he did.
Right. In two different chats. Like we had the one where I dropped it in the group for all of us, and then of course he hit me up on the private chat, like, "Oh my god!" You know. So yeah. Keithan is whenever I'm around him, we do Black Comics Day and stuff, and we just did that this past weekend. I always get a piece of art from him. He's just an amazing illustrator and an amazing mentor in the comic game itself. So I'm just super appreciative. Yeah, that is Mal.
That is definitely Mal.
You guys don't get it. This is not a personality. That's not like a thing he's doing.
Yeah. This ain't like a Ric Flair thing he does for here and then goes and acts normal. No,
that's normal.
That's 100% Malachi.
Yeah,
I don't know
Mal.
him that well, and I know that. There's no way it's not.
Yeah.
Like, he is a 100% genuine person. Like,
yes.
Yeah.
So you guys should we're wrapping up soon. So if you guys want to.
Last thoughts on Nightfall, and then let everybody know where they can find you on the medias of Soch.
After you, sir.
After me?
Yeah.
Well, you can find Constant Hustle Comics on ConstantHustleComics.com, Facebook.com/Constant Hustle Comics, Instagram.com/C.H.comics, and Twitter on C Hustle Comics. That's where you can find us. We're pretty much everywhere.
I love it. Easy to find too. Good branding.
So Nightfall is the greatest story ever. So you should buy it because it's the greatest, and the author is amazing. No, honestly, we have a lot of fun putting it together.
Humble too.
Right. It's a really fun project, and something obviously that's really dear to my heart. Like I said, I've always wanted to get into comics. Always wanted to do a crossover. I had people tell me it was too soon and too early once we started, and then we picked up momentum, and they were like, "Oh, this is pretty dope." And by then, I was like, "Well, fuck you now," because you didn't believe in me at first.
Right.
Lawrence believed. Malachi, Brett, again, the entire team. So again, we're bringing this to a close. It is a larger issue than what would be your normal 22 page joint. I think this is like 28, 29 pages to bring the story to like a good close. And kind of lay out the future for Wingless Comics in that universe, and bringing our newly acquired character Avery into the fold completely. Also, you're going to be able to see Avery in issue 2 from Constant Hustle and Wingless Comics towards third quarter this year. So things are going the way we want them to. We really appreciate all the support. We're online and on Facebook at Wingless Comics. Instagram, Wingless_comics, Twitter, Wingless Entertainment. We are, if you look up Wingless Comics, we're the only Wingless Comics, which is makes it easy for me because I always forget myself. We're out there. Again, we appreciate being able to come on the podcast with you guys. Look out for issue 5 because issue 5 is also going to have an Unlikely Heroes Studios cameo. And I'm already getting pages back from Fabio, and it's already going to look glorious. Just FYI. Again, tune in. We're not going anywhere. We really appreciate you guys. I really appreciate you guys. And I appreciate everybody who supports and who backs and shares and talks about it. It's just an amazing experience to be able to do this from where I was 2 or 3 years ago, not in the game. So thank you guys again.
If I could say one more thing, just to make sure everybody knows, this wasn't like a quickly thrown together project either. This was years in the making of us having conversations about it and knowing what the end goal would be, and Brian sending me scripts and making sure that I felt everything was correct before we moved forward. So I got to say kudos to Brian because he really wove an amazing story in this whole thing. So if not, I wouldn't be involved. Constant Hustle Comics wouldn't be involved. And, this is just the first of things to come. So I know we're going to be collaborating on things in the future, and Brian is going to be doing some editor work for us. And so we're going to do the damn thing, period.
I apologize because I should have put Avery more prominent in Nightfall. So never.
Here we go. I'm never going to hear the end of it.
Never.
Well, I'm really glad you guys could come on and talk about this because I am super excited. I'm not even gonna close the tab here. I'm gonna just, as soon as we're done here, I'm gonna go on there and back it because I haven't done that yet, and now you got me all pumped. So I'm all stoked to do it right now. So I'm gonna do that. And then if everybody who's watching, if y'all were on Kickstarter and you backed Nightfall, then you can just jump over to Elsewhere and put in a pledge for that too.
Yes.
Yes. What was I gonna say? Oh, next week, Free Comic Book Day, and Russell Nolsey is gonna be our guest, and we're gonna give some free shit away.
Yeah, we're gonna be giving away free digital stuff and free physical stuff. So definitely tune in.
Free physical stuff. Did you say that? You did say that. Free physical stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. I think Russell also wants to give away physical stuff. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. The notes say that he's going to give away Cthulhu Volume 1 to an audience member. So, oh my God, yeah, y'all got to be an audience member to get that. So come watch next week and get some free shit. Yeah, it'll be fun. And I think that was it. Yeah. Back Nightfall, back Elsewhere. Come watch next week. Get some free shit. Thank you, Brian. Thank you, Lawrence. And we're good. Excellent. Awesome. So have a wonderful evening, everybody. Good night.
You too. Thank you so much for having us on.
Thank you, guys.